prepared for that. They don't know what they're getting themselves into. They just assume, okay, I'm going to have 4 years of education at $25,000 a pop, and when I come out the other side, somehow I'll be able to...
Why most people fail and how to avoid it. Let me ask you something. Have you ever sat down, promised yourself that this time you'll stick to the plan, and then, a few days later, you find yourself back at square one? Maybe it was a new fitness routine, a business idea, or just trying to wake up earlier. You start strong, full of excitement, and then, poof, the energy fades. Sound familiar? You're not alone.
You know, it's an extremely corrupt system we have at this point. We have an education bubble. In the US, we have $1 trillion of student debt. To first approximation, this has gone...
Here's the truth most people don't like to admit. Failure isn't usually about lack of talent, or even lack of opportunity. It's about patterns, habits, and the way we handle the small daily choices. And once you see why most people fail, you can actually dodge the traps that keep them stuck. Let's break this down through stories, real-life examples, and lessons you can actually apply today.
Up and up like that. And the president of Harvard or Stanford, if you wanted to get a mob of students, alumni, faculty to come after you, try to lynch you, what you should say is something like this. You know, we live in this much larger...
Shishash, the illusion of motivation. We love motivation. It feels good. A new YouTube video, a book, or a fiery speech gets us pumped. But here's the trap. Motivation is like sugar. It gives you a quick rush, but it never lasts. Take John, for example. He was fired up after reading a self-help book.
And some people, like I've got a great conceptual memory and a terrible rote memory. So if I have a story, I could tell you year by year kind of what happened.
For a week, he woke up early, worked out, and even started a journal. But 2 weeks later, life happened. Work got busy. He felt tired. Slowly, his new habits disappeared. What happened? He relied on motivation instead of building systems. Motivation may start the engine, but only discipline keeps the car moving. Most people fail because they don't plan for the days when they won't feel like showing up. Larsh, the silent killer. Comfort. Failure doesn't always look dramatic. Often, it looks like comfort.
Colleges is they are high school but with more binge drinking. The entire purpose of a good university is to give you a foundation to fail.
Think about it. Comfort keeps you in a job you don't like because the paycheck feels safe. Comfort makes you scroll endlessly on your phone instead of practicing the skill you've always wanted to master. Comfort convinces you that tomorrow is a better time to start. But here's the scary part. Comfort is expensive. It costs you your dreams.
The people who are doing the work they care about are figuring out what to do next, not following the person who told them what to do next. And the problem with most...
Every time you choose comfort over growth, you're paying with time you'll never get back. The people who succeed? They embrace discomfort. They see fear or resistance not as a sign to stop, but as proof they're on the right track. 1. Mistaking busyness for progress. Another trap that makes people fail. Busyness. You've seen it before, people with endless to-do lists running around from task to task, but never moving forward. It feels productive, but it's an illusion.
All these hobbies and code a lot of stuff and try a lot of different things. It's this amazing flexibility that I think most people take for granted. Once you decide, okay, I'm going to start a company and I'm going to do it.
Success doesn't come from doing more things. It comes from doing the right things. Ask yourself this. Are you chasing activity or are you chasing results? Most people fail because they confuse motion with progress. Winners? They know how to prioritize. They do less, but better. Third, fear of failure, the biggest irony. Here's the wild part. The fear of failing is the #1 reason people fail. Let's take Sarah's story. She dreamed of starting her own bakery. She baked amazing cakes for family and friends, but she never launched her shop.
I mean, if somebody graduated from a great university, that may be an indication that they will be full of great things, but it's not necessarily the case. You know, if you look at...
Why? Because she was scared people wouldn't like her work, scared of losing money, scared of judgment. Years passed, and someone else opened a bakery in her neighborhood. It became wildly successful. Sarah? She's still baked at home, quietly regretting not taking the leap. This is the irony. The very thing we're afraid of, failure, becomes reality when we let fear control us. Lack of consistency. You've probably heard the phrase, consistency beats intensity.
Well, oftentimes business education today, and I see it all the time, it's come out of college, the best colleges, Wharton and Harvard and Stanford and some of the great business schools, and they'll come out and they won't have practical.
And it's true. Most people fail not because they don't try, but because they stop too soon. They give up when results don't come fast enough. But success works like compound interest. It builds slowly, invisibly, and then suddenly explodes. Think of bamboo. For years, it barely grows above the ground. But under the surface, its roots are spreading wide and deep. And then, in one season, it shoots up feet in a matter of weeks. That's how success works. You won't see instant results. And if you quit too early, you'll never reach the breakthrough. Nutshell. Not knowing their why. Here's a question. Why do you want what you want?
Something bad happens to you, what society tells you is, hey, that's trauma, hey, it's bad, hey, you should feel terrible. If you take that bad thing, then you look at it in the different light.
Most people never stop to answer this. They say they want money, success, fitness, freedom. But when the struggle gets tough, they quit because their why wasn't strong enough. Successful people anchor their goals to a deep purpose. It could be family, freedom, impact, or self-respect. When you know your why, discipline becomes easier. Without it, failure is almost guaranteed.
Fuel to get you moving. If you don't know where you're going, your targets are, you're never going to get there.
That it doesn't matter how old you are, how you...
Doris. The trap of comparison. We live in a world of Instagram highlight reels and TikTok success stories. It's easy to look at others and think, I'm behind. I'll never catch up. But comparison is poison. Most people fail because they measure their chapter 1 against someone else's chapter 20. They forget that success takes time, and every journey is different. Winners? They compete only with themselves. They ask,
everything changed for me when I realized we're not meant to feel excited and perfect all the time. I started accepting that where I am right now is...
Am I better than yesterday? That's it. Quitting too early. This one's simple. Most people give up too soon. They're 3 feet from gold but never dig long enough to find it. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. Imagine if he stopped at try number 999. Success was right around the corner, but he would have missed it. That's what happens to most people. They stop right before the breakthrough. How to avoid failure. The blueprint. Okay, so now we know why most people fail.
Prepared for that. They don't know what they're getting themselves into. They just assume, okay, I'm going to 4 years of education at $25,000 a pop, and when I come out the other side, somehow I'll be able to...
But the real question is, how do you avoid it? What separates the ones who stay stuck from the ones who rise above? The answer isn't luck. It's not about being born talented or having the right connections. It's about building the right habits, making intentional choices, and learning to play the long game. Let's break it down into practical steps you can start applying today. 1. Build systems, not just motivation. Motivation is like a spark. It lights the fire, but if you don't add wood, it dies out. Systems are that wood. They keep you moving when your mood doesn't match your goals. For example, instead of saying, I'll go to the gym when I feel like it, create a system. Pack your gym bag the night before, set a fixed time, and treat it like brushing your teeth. Non-negotiable. Success isn't about getting hyped once in a while. It's about making the right action automatic. 2. Embrace discomfort. Here's a truth bomb. Everything you want sits just outside your comfort zone.
I'm genuinely meant to be. Lean into them. Guys are also part of a very good and meaningful life. So on my toughest days, I think about getting through
that scary presentation, that new skill, that business you dream of starting. It will all feel uncomfortable at first, and that's okay. Think about professional athletes. Training isn't comfortable. Muscles ache, lungs burn, sweat pours. But growth only happens in discomfort. If you run from it, you also run from success. The people who win are those who lean into that edge instead of backing away from it. 3. Focus on priorities, not busyness. There's a big difference between being busy and being productive. Most people pack their days with low-value tasks because it feels good to check boxes. But real progress comes from doing fewer things, just the ones that actually matter. Ask yourself daily,
and you forgive that person and you understand why that person did it, the good came from it, all of a sudden, it's not such a bad thing anymore.
if I only accomplish one thing today, what would make the biggest impact? Do that first. Success is built on clarity and focus, not endless motion. 4. Take action. Despite fear, fear never fully goes away. Waiting to feel ready is a trap. The truth is, nobody ever feels completely ready. The leap comes first, and the confidence comes later. Think of entrepreneurs who launch startups.
We ask kids that are 16 to 18 years old to make $100,000 debt decisions when they go off to university. And they're not.
Almost all of them admit they were terrified, but they moved anyway. Courage isn't about the absence of fear. It's about feeling it and moving forward anyway. That's how breakthroughs are made. 5. Stay consistent. The compound effect. Small daily actions don't look impressive in the moment, but over time, they compound into massive results. Imagine two people. One saves $5 a day.
Blessed. And here I am the CEO of my own company.
In whatever you do, please understand your terrain. No.
Another spends $5 a day. A year later, one has nearly $2,000 saved, the other has nothing. Extend that over a decade, and the gap is huge. The same goes for habits. Reading 10 pages daily doesn't feel like much, but over a year, that's 12 books. Small wins, repeated, create unstoppable momentum. 6. Define your why.
Regardless of anything else.
This here in reality, do you mean?
When things get tough, and they will, you need a reason stronger than your excuses. That's your why. If you want to lose weight just to look good for summer, chances are you'll quit when cravings hit. But if your why is to live longer and watch your kids grow up, that's deeper. That's fuel. Every time you feel like giving up, ask, why did I start? Who am I doing this for? A powerful why keeps you anchored when storms hit. 7. Avoid toxic comparison. Comparison is the thief of joy. Social media makes it worse. You're constantly bombarded with highlight reels of other people's lives. But here's the secret.
Every time I would go to the 7th floor was the CEO's office. So I would bust in like it's the CEO. I'm dreaming like I'm the CEO.
You don't see their failures, struggles, or messy behind the scenes. Instead of measuring yourself against others, measure yourself against yesterday. Are you improving even 1% at a time? That's the only comparison that matters. Progress is personal. 8. Don't quit early. Trust the process. Most people give up right before the breakthrough. Success is often a delayed reward. You plant seeds, water them daily, and for months, nothing happens. Then one day, it blooms. Think about authors who faced dozens of rejections before finally landing a publishing deal. Or inventors like Edison who failed thousands of times before success. If they quit early, the world would never know their names. So the next time you feel like giving up, remember, quitting guarantees failure. Pushing forward keeps the possibility of success alive. That's the real blueprint. Not hacks, not overnight tricks, but timeless principles. Build systems. Embrace discomfort. Stay consistent. Focus on your why. And most importantly, don't stop too soon.